Hey folks, welcome back to another Prepping Data with SQL. We're into the advanced weeks with Prepping Data challenges. In this, we're going to be doing a lot of techniques around common table expressions, about unions. If you haven't practiced those in a while, check back to some of the earlier challenges where we introduced those. For the first time in this challenge, we'll be looking at running sums, which will be quite fun. Other than that, let's dive into this challenge. Okay, I've put this data into Snowflake. We're dealing with week 7's data set. So we've got a few tasks to do here, which I'm going to work through now. So first up, this for the transaction table, rename the columns. I'm not going to do that. We can do any relabeling of columns at the end. So I'm going to leave that for now. Filter out cancelled transactions. I can do that. So I'm on transaction detail here. I can see my cancelled transactions here. It's like a yes, no column. So I can just go and So I use the where clause there just to filter out any yeses for cancelled. Okay, split the flow from incoming to outgoing transactions. So this is going to require that transaction path data set. So I want to know which account it went to and from. So I'm going to join to that table. So I've got all those extra columns back. So over here, I've got those accounts to and from. Okay, so what I'm going to need to do for this is I've got an account to and account from. I just want to show one account. So I want to show one account number and then say whether the money went to that was credited to account or taken away or debited from that account. So what I'm going to do is build up two queries that will do the accounts going to an account and the money going from an account. Okay, ambiguous column name. That means I'm missing one of these aliases for my join because transaction ID appears both in path and in detail. So I just need to go and add in an alias, which will be this D dot capital. Okay, that works. That's all good. So this is all the money being credited to these accounts, these account numbers. I need to go and do the reverse and work out all the money being taken away from other accounts. So simple copy and paste. I've added in a little semicolon here to indicate the end of one query in the so I can start another select here. So this is the accounts the money's been taken away from. So the value here, what I'm trying to get to is a report that shows this account lost this money. So I need to go and multiply this by -1 to show it as an outflow. No, I don't want two separate queries. I want to go and put this in one query. So I'm going to union these together using union all. Union all just puts the two data sets together. A normal union will run a distinct clause over that, which we don't want. Okay, so there we go. I'm going to union all of those together. Let's move on to the next bit. Okay, bring the data together with balance as of 31st of Jan. So I'm going to need that other table, the account details. Okay, so here I go. I have all the different account numbers. Balance dates is what I'm after as of 31st of Jan, and then the balance there. So it wants me to include this balance as of this date for each of these account numbers. So what I'm going to do is filter this for that date and then look to join it to my other tables here. Okay, that filter's working. That looks good. So I just need to join account number and bring in this balance here. So to do this, I'm just going to add this as a join to each of these individual queries so we can union them all together at the end. That looks good. Now I need to just go and add balance date. Okay, I'm going to comment this out. Let's run this. Okay, the query runs okay. I just need to go and add in that column for the balance. Okay, so now I've got that column balance coming through, which is great. Work out the order that transactions occur for each account. So what I need to do here is go and sort this by the account and the transaction date, and then also by the value. I can't do this on a union. What I'm going to do is put this into a common table expression and then call that so I can then sort that later. Now I can use it as if it was a table. So I can do things here. So I can now do my sorting. Okay, so I've now got those values coming in the right order, so we can see that working for this account. Okay, so what I need to do is go and do a running sum of value. Okay, so running sum. So I want to sum my values. I want to do it over partition by, and I want to partition it by the account ID. I don't want to sum beyond another person's account into someone else's. And I want to order it by a transaction date and then the highest value. Okay, and we can see that working here. So these numbers are changing based on this addition going on here. Of note, we didn't have to use a group by statement. What we're doing here is now a window operation. So we're summing these values over this partition, which means we don't need to do group by in these cases. Okay, so we've got this running sum. What we need to do is then recalculate the balance that we had. So we have this balance here. What we need to do is just add this to this. Okay, so what's happening here is I can see that this value is adding to this value to get to here. It is then taking that value and adding that one to produce this value. Okay, the transaction value should be null for the 31st of Jan as this is the starting balance. Okay, so what we've got is this running sum of what happened with the balance. What we're going to need here in this case is to insert a row for the 31st of Jan for all these accounts with that starting balance. So what we're going to need to do is update our union to go and bring in that balance as of that date so we can bring it into this calculation. So I'm going to need a third statement to go into my union, which is going to come from that account information. Okay, in my account information, I'm not going to have a transaction ID. And in fact, the output doesn't ask for transaction ID, so I'm going to get rid of those. I'm also going to need a transaction value. I don't have a transaction value in my account information. And from the challenge, it tells you to specify it as null, which I can do here in SQL. I can just say null, not now, null as value. Balance date is going to become our transaction date. That looks right in terms of what the challenge asks for. There's no transaction value, but that's the balance. The issue is going to be this running sum of the balance. So what's happening is because it's trying to sum a null, it's then going to return a null. It doesn't know what that value is. Null is that unknown value. So I can use a function in SQL to convert my null, in this case, to a zero. So effectively a transaction of zero value. So it's called coalesce. So I run that, and now I can see actually that running some of the balance there as well coming through. So now I've got my £700 and then this continuation from here. Now all I need to do is just go and tidy up this query ready for an out. Okay, that looks good to me. That'll wrap it up for this challenge. The solution will be on my GitHub account and check back next time for week 10. Bye.